President Trump gathering his cabinet at Camp David as Iran says it struck more vessels in the Strait of Hormuz.
We'll be hitting them. We'll be hitting them very hard. And, at some point they're going to say, we just can't take it anymore. We just want to win. We just want to win.
We'll hit them hard, but President Trump is keeping the door on diplomacy open, regardless of what Iran says.
They say talks aren't happening.
We'll talk about nuclear, and we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, why do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes. You should solve it. But 7 hours, and then they'll go out, and I'll say they discussed nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I'll say, why do they say that? All they do is make me angry. You just make me angry.
Here with me is Tom Sauer, retired lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. First off, let me just ask you, big picture, where do you think things stand right now in the overall standoff between Iran and the United States?
Well, thanks again so much for having me back. And one thing I think that's important for your viewers to realize is the Iranians are following what they refer to as the mosaic plan. And what that came from is in 2003, when the United States took out the Saddam Hussein's regime. You can say what you want about the occupation afterwards, right, but we completely took him out. We rendered Saddam Hussein deaf, dumb, and blind. The Iranians saw that, and they said, holy cow, we need to do something about that, and they did. That mosaic plan, there's 31 provinces in Iran, and they all have independent standing orders, so to speak. They have their own command and control, many of their own supplies, and they've got standing orders that, hey, if Tehran gets completely taken out, the regime is taken no matter what, you're going to fight, and here's what you have to do with that, right? And so there's 3 provinces along the coast right now. You have Hormozgan, Bushehr, and it's Khuzestan. And so that whole coastline is about the same length as California's coast. It's very big. But those are the 3 regions, the 3 provinces that are the biggest threat to shipping right now. So when I hear from friends and I hear about our friends in the region, we're hearing about, hey, we're really going after it right now, you guys. And what that is primarily being focused on is completely cutting off those regimes. That's when those regions. Right. So we talk about bridges, railroads, communication, and completely suffocating, strangling them. And then we're also looking at probably Pickaxe Mountain and everything else. We don't really care too much what happens to the regime. It would be really nice if they did go away. But right now, it's about stopping their capability to harass shipping traffic and to make sure they don't get a nuke.
Right. The only thing that I can think of that would be more maddening than trying to bomb those 3 different regions is trying to negotiate with those 3 different regions. But one of the things that I find kind of alarming is when Iran today, or in the last week or so, launches these strikes against our bases in, say, Jordan or against some of their other neighbors, we're finding that actually they've got the munitions, perhaps even more sophisticated munitions than they had when we finished bombing them, a couple of months ago when we finished the hottest part of the kinetic fighting. Does that alarm you?
It might be troubling in some regard, but it's not, completely alarming. Much of that coastline, especially in those provinces close to Iraq and Jordan and whatnot, they are, they do have their own stockpiles, and they're really well hidden, but that's not going to last forever. And I can probably assure you that these parts of Iran are some of the most closely watched pieces of real estate in the world right now. And, they could be hidden in caves and tunnels and whatnot, and every chance, every opportunity, we're taking them out. And on top of that, you put the blockade. We are absolutely strangling them. And yes, we have a midterm election coming up. The Iranian strategy is the same as Hamas, Hezbollah, and frankly, the Democrat Party, is to wait this out and make as long as possible until the midterms. That is their goal. That is their strategy. And we're here to make sure that they don't get that. Yeah.
Well, and of course, they're up against somebody who cares more about the objective than he does about the midterm elections. Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate having me back, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.